So in my last video, you may have noticed that I came up with a plan to raise this wall right here after I built it without putting any of the siding on it, because the last few were really heavy, which the first plan did not work. The second plan was absolutely insane, terribly dangerous. I do not recommend it, but it worked. If you want to see that, watch that last video, and at the end of this, I will be having the next video pop up and the playlist with all the videos of this build in there, so you can go look in the playlist. If you ask me in the comments, I'll put a link in the description of the video. On this video, what I wanted to show you was another one of my mistakes that I made, so you don't have to make that mistake. Or if you've already made the mistake, then maybe you can correct it a little bit easier than I did. Look at that gap right there. See the light? I'll give you a closer look. What I had done was, this was part of my plan of being able to lift it by myself, was putting this in place, then lift all this and get it right up underneath of it and nail it together, which I did. I also measured from that corner down there to the corner over there to double check against my calculations, and it seemed like this needed to be a little bit wider, so I moved my braces to widen it up, so when I go to pick this up it would fit. And yeah, it fit with room to spare, but that room to spare is the problem. And since I used the nail gun to put this in instead of screws, now I've got yet another problem. Problems on top of problems, because I need to take this loose and let this collapse in. You may notice I've got all my other braces off. And I've got a similar problem over here with too much of a gap over here. I've checked it with the level, and yes, the top of those walls are leaning out. They're no longer plumb, which is one of the things I was trying to avoid, but I actually created the problem. Now, when I take all this loose, what's to keep the wall from just falling out or falling in? Nothing really. So I added this brace right here, which is similar to the braces I'm used for these walls back here, which you may be thinking, if they're tied into these corners, why would I need the braces back here? Well, actually I had those braces further forward before I built this wall, but they were in the way of this wall and they were in the way of me lifting it up. So I had to move them from there to back here in order to lift this wall. Again, sketchy, dangerous. If you got a better way, feel free to comment below. I don't recommend you do things the way I do them. I'm just showing you what I did and the results I got and mistakes I made and how I correct those, so you can learn from what I did and hopefully not make the same mistakes I do. And I hope that'll save you some time and money. Okay, so flat iron and hammer, and I'm gonna pop these loose, and I'm probably going to have to take it down and trim some off the ends because it's probably gonna be too long. I'll let you know how it goes. Now we answer the question, is the wall gonna fall or am I gonna fall? Okay, we're definitely making progress, because you see that one's plumb again. And see how we're doing over here. We've still got some gap. It's not quite plumb. Just move this out just a little bit. And you see that would be plumb. So that means that needs to go in that little bit. And it looks like I need to take a Sawzall and go right in there and get that little piece of 2x4 And then of course I've got to take that top plate off, measure and cut it, and put it back up there after I get both these plumb. And double check and make sure my doorway is still plumb, because the doors are not going to swing right. Yeah, good. Probably because of this brace right here is holding that nice and still. Okay, I think it's it's clear that this is working. Another crisis averted, self-made crisis. And next step in the next video is going to be me skinning this front, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to set up in order to be able to do it alone by myself with these big heavy panels and hold them in place so that I can screw them. And the other link in the other corner is going to be the whole playlist from dirt to finished shed. 12 by 16, trying to get this done. $2,600, $2,800 budget for a $7,000 shed.